Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
Boom, back in the studio, DBD's live studio. What's up, people? It's your man Mo. Hit him up, Mel Money.
Hey, what's going on, my people? We have a dynamic, exciting show for you guys today. But before we get started, we're going to tell you about the DBDS mission statement. So we promote thoughtful relationship topics on social media and our live show and other outlets to help people to become a better version of themselves. We want people to embrace love, respect, and loyalty. And when you have a healthier relationship with yourself, you can create healthier families. Healthier families create healthier communities. So let's get this show on the road, my peoples. Yes.
Yeah, so listen, this show is going to be very interesting. Today we are talking about the friend zone. Don't skip it.
Man, whew.
What you think about that, Mel? The friend zone, don't skip it, man.
Listen, man, you skip that friend zone, you definitely putting yourself at a disadvantage. So this show, you may want to take some notes. Trust me.
Get your paper and pencils, and we got some special guests that's going to help us out today. You know, we're going to be talking about this. So before we do that, though, I just want to kind of give some context to the show. You know, a lot of people just think relationships they call them microwave relationships today, right? You just add water and poof, you're in a relationship, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. If you try that, a lot of times it's going to fail. What you got to do is find yourself a prescriptive process to follow. There's steps that you need to follow, and you need to maintain those steps, right? The first step, trust me on this one, and by the way, this show is dedicated to the ladies. We are focusing on the ladies today. The first step is acknowledging and dealing with the friend zone. You're gonna learn more about that. I'm not even gonna tell you nothing about it. I'm gonna let the show give you the information, but we're gonna explore the friend zone, why it's important, and why you need to deal with it. All right, so right now, we're going to bring one of our special guests into the show. We're going to bring right now Nicole from Colorado. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Hey.
Hello.
How's
Welcome
it
to
going?
the
Thanks
show.
for having me on.
Good. So tell the people a little bit about yourself, Nicole.
So I am a dispatcher for Republic Services, which is a waste management company recycling here in Denver. I'm also a model and advocate of self-love and body positivity, and love to encourage women to uplift and support each other at all times.
So we got a lot of support in the building today, women. We got a lot of support. Now we're going to bring in my girl, Stephanie, out of North Carolina. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Hello. Thank you guys for having me.
Oh, yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Our pleasure. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I am a speech pathologist. I specialize in strokes and swallowing disorders. That's what I do as a career. But in addition to that, I am a certified marriage coach. So I just love helping people, navigate through healthy relationships.
Absolutely. And that's what we're here to do today, people. And right now, I'm coming back to my man, Mel Money. Mel Money, go ahead and kick this off,
Absolutely, man. So we have a section in our DBDS group, by the way, which you can join. And it's called the Anonymous section, where people post issues that they're having within their relationship. So they look for positive feedback or things to help elevate their relationship. So it reads, "Hello, DBDS family. I am in need of advice. I have spent 2 months now with a handsome man that I pursue in the beginning, and we both openly declare each other that we are looking for a partner, that we could form a team to mutually support each other in all life situations, and we agree to commit to each other and see where things takes us. However, a couple of red flags occur to me. He always tells me about his female friends that he has such a great connection and fun with. For instance, he does that in great detail and tells me that they have always had such good times, and he even considers moving in with one of them. This sort of hurts me because it makes me conscious that our relationship might not be as good and fulfilling as he makes it out to be. He always texts them right in front of me or starts phoning them when I'm around. I consider that disrespectful because we don't have a lot of time together, and I would like to dedicate my full presence to him, but apparently he really cannot do that in reverse. Recently, after we did have a few good times, and intimacy, he has sought some distance from me. We did not meet for 1 week, even though we phoned at some times. But even during our call, he immediately canceled because somebody else was calling him. And I asked him why he behaves in such a condescending way, and I'm not okay with it. I feel quite insecure. He is not really able to give me any reassurance or signs of kindness. And he responded that he had heard these complaints already from other friends and former lovers. And it's because he was in a really bad toxic relationship that had lasted for 3 years and apparently messed him up really bad. What can I do to prove to him that I'm not like the woman in his past? Should I pour more into our relationship? Please help me.
Woo-wee! Listen, I thought I could have swore I heard you say in the beginning a few red flags. I don't know. Maybe I.
That's
I don't
a
know,
lot.
maybe yes,
Yes.
a little bit more than a few red flags. But listen, we're gonna jump into this. We're gonna analyze this, see if we can get this lady some help. I'm coming to you, Stephanie. Help us out with this. Give us some insight.
Well, to me personally, it started off if she was sounding like they were in a real committed relationship, like they were in the courting process where they were making some serious life decisions. But when it got to the red flags, it just spoke of nothing but disrespect, double-mindedness. And it says to me that, he's doing a lot of talking, but there is no real action to back it up. And I always tell women, action speaks louder than words. And so if he's already demonstrating that he does not care about how he's making you feel, then he's not someone that you want to be with in the long term. The Bible says, for this reason shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave. So if he's showing you that he doesn't have the ability to cleave, especially if he's talking about being in a committed relationship, I think she should run. And especially if he's already demonstrating that he doesn't care anything about how she feels. At first, my question was, well, is she expressing to him that this is bothering her? Or is she demonstrating passive aggressive behaviors? Because, as women, a lot of times we'll be passive aggressive when we get upset as opposed to being direct and telling someone what's going on. Well, in this situation, it sounds like she said to him, this bothers me, this upsets me, and he's still doing it. So she may want to take a step back and really think about, is this relationship really something that is serious to him? Does it really have the meaning behind it that he says it does?
Absolutely. Nicole, any thoughts on this matter?
Yeah, I have a whole lot of thoughts on this matter. First, she says they're in a committed relationship, but are they? Was that ever established? Or is it something that she feels like she's committed them both to? It's a form of emotional abuse to tell a woman or compare a woman to other women in your life. That's so much more than a red flag. If you don't establish self-respect and let someone know what's hurting you up front, I feel like after it goes on for such a long time, it's hard to go back and correct those behaviors. So yeah, I don't think that she should pour anything else into the relationship. Like Stephanie says, she needs to take a step back and think, is this really what she wants? This behavior will continue if people will treat you how you let them treat you always.
Absolutely. Mel Money, you got some thoughts on this?
Listen, I agree with Stephanie and Nicole. I mean, according to this anonymous poster, she is definitely with someone who is not relationship ready. And also the exchange of energy is not mutual. And it sounds like to me the relationship was unbalanced to begin with because she pursued him instead of using her flirtatious output to determine his level of interest to her. Quite frankly, their moral codes are not in line with each other because she clearly wants a monogamous relationship and the brother wants to test the field. But I feel like the rules of engagement, which means setting personal expectations of what you want out of the relationship, should have been established before she entered the physical zone, which is part of our 3 strategic way of thinking, which consists of the friend zone, the intimacy zone, and the physical zone. And these 3 steps could have helped her to avoid this quicksand. Now she's emotionally attached to this brother, which benefits him and is a disservice to her. And the more she continues to be intimate with this particular brother, the more that she'll remain with him, possibly for months or years to come. And this can have some emotional, I'll say ramifications as well as physical ramifications, unless she applies logic to reevaluate the relationship. And like Nicole says, stop pouring herself into someone who is not pouring himself into her. And I would further recommend that this is where the no contact theory should be applied, which means to separate yourself emotionally, physically, as well as spiritually and mentally, because right now she is only enabling his behavior. And a man like this is he's not gonna change because he's already getting everything he wants. So sadly, there's no reason for him to change.
Absolutely, man. So that's what I was saying from the beginning of the show. It's like relationships are like, I look at it like a mathematics problem, right? Right now, it's 2 plus 2 is 7. Okay,
Oh,
somebody did some
Yes.
math incorrectly, and
Mhm.
what should have happened is you need to follow the proper steps to get the right answer. And in this case, it sounded like they just jumped in. Let's see what happens, and well, we see what's going on, don't we?
Mm.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna keep this moving. We're gonna jump right into our main topics. Again, we're talking about the friend zone. Don't skip over it. So first thing we want to jump into is never risk your self-respect by trying to force a man to take interest in you. Now, what do we mean by that? So this is how I look at that.
mhm,
No is no for women too.
Mhm.
Usually, no
mm,
is no for men, right? But we talk in this case is no for women too, because sometimes you got to pay attention and get the message and move on. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? If you stay there and you keep trying to apply yourself, basically all you're doing is reducing your self-respect.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
I'm coming
true.
to you, Nicole. What's your thoughts on this?
Mm,
I feel like when you're forcing yourself on a person, you become what they call it, a bugaboo.
mhm,
You become annoying. Nobody wants someone that's constantly trying to force their time. You have to, yeah, respect yourself and give people time to come to you. Otherwise, you don't know how much they're interested in you.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, Mel Money. What's your thoughts on this?
Oh yeah, I agree with Nicole what she just said because listen, it's a red flag if you have to fight for a man's attention.
Yes.
And when a brother only wants to see you, for example, during late night visits and follows up with half-hearted communication attempts, it clearly shows that he doesn't want to get to know you. He only wants to seduce you. And this is why I tell certain women that they should never trade sex for validation in order to get a brother to like them. Because honestly,
Right.
the woman is the common denominator in every single relationship that she has, and she must hold herself accountable. And a woman with self respect and standards will refuse the benefit of a relationship if he refused to offer her a commitment along with a title.
Mhm.
I also feel that sisters can avoid the toxic sexual encounters, which are I would say ill-advised, unwise sexual decisions to try to get a man to like her and to earn a spot in his life. Whereas if a brother truly likes a sister, he would treat the relationship like a marathon and not like a race or sprint. Because quite frankly, there is no need for a sister to provide her body right away as a
Mhm.
down payment or a deposit for a relationship or commitment towards him. Because if he's
Mhm.
the right man, then everything will naturally fall into place.
Absolutely, Stephanie. You got any thoughts on this?
Yeah, when I heard the question, it made me think about like two things. Number one, if you have to sacrifice like your core values and
Mm,
who you are to be with anyone, then you automatically know that relationship is not for you. It made me think about a time. So let me give you an example. So when I was in college, right, I
mm,
dated this guy. So I knew I was in school. I knew where I was going. So my degree, I had to major in it, but I had to get a master's in it, which means I had to maintain a certain level GPA. So I liked this guy so much that, but what the issue is, he would come over at night. He liked to stay up at night. He liked to party at night. So what happened is I started doing the same things because I wanted to create this commonality with him, right? I wanted him to take interest in me. So I started hanging out. I started doing the same things. And what happened is my grades dropped. You know what I mean? So I was
mm,
sacrificing my self-respect, and I was, sacrificing my values and what I had planned for my life for something that really wasn't going anywhere. And so I tell women all the time, if you get to a point where when you start changing who you are and having to sacrifice what you know and value to be with someone, that relationship definitely is not for you at all on any level. On any level.
A-
The first time you have to
Absolutely.
dumb down who you are to be with someone, that's not it. Begging and pleading for attention, that's not it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. Go ahead, Mel Money.
And I just want to mention, piggyback what Stephanie states. I mean, I'll use this as an analogy. I mean, if you're going to get a PhD degree, you expect at the end you're going to get a doctor in front of that, right?
Mhm.
Well, it's the same as relationships. If you pouring all your energy and effort into the relationship, that's the work you put in to have that commitment, to have that title that comes along with the relationship. The problem today is a lot of sisters are putting their hard-earned effort into someone that's not getting the commitment or the title along with it, and it puts them at a disadvantage.
Absolutely, for sure.
Imagine that. I mean, imagine that, going to school for 8 years and you're not doctor. You just come across the stage and they just shake your hand and like, hey, buddy.
Yeah. Mr.
You did good for 8 years, man.
I'm gonna say something my mom used to say. It's kind of inappropriate, but it's not. It's really appropriate for this thing. So I always tell women, you have to ask yourself, what am I gaining out of this? Like, I need to know what I'm getting out of dealing with you. What am I gleaning from this? And my mom used to have a saying, and y'all, I promise you, I've taken it with me. It followed me through every relationship. She used to say, Stephanie, you can get a wet behind by yourself. You don't need a man to do that. So if I tell women, if all you're getting out of this is sex, then you really are losing. And if you're if you're sacrificing yourself just for that, then it makes you, it's not only dumb, but it makes you look dumb as well.
Right.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to add, Nicole?
Well, yeah, what Stephanie was saying, you do, when you dumb yourself down, if this is a person you plan on being with for the long haul, so you're allowing yourself to be dumb for the whole rest of the time, you have to be who you are. You're supposed to grow from a relationship, not be less of who you are. And if you have to be less of who you are for somebody, then they're not for you.
Absolutely. The build up. Yes, absolutely. When you get with somebody, that's supposed to build you up, not tear you down, right? All right, y'all, we're going to keep this moving. We're going on to our next topic. Next topic is do not dominate the intentions of the contact if you want to keep his interest. Now, here's the thing. Today is 2020, right? Mm-hmm. So you got women out there shooting that shot.
Oh, man.
I seen women taking one knee, doing marriage proposals. I seen all kind of stuff nowadays, man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you this. That would not be advice that I would give to my daughter. But if y'all want to do that, go ahead and do you. But here's the thing: you gotta realize and recognize. Once you do something like that, the dynamics of the relationship will change. All right. I won't elaborate on that because I know my panel's gonna hit that up. But the dynamics will change. I'm coming to you, Stephanie. Talk to us about this one.
So my thing is, like, a man doesn't mind knowing that you're interested in him, right? But what happens when you dominate the communication, what you're doing is it almost puts you in a position, like you said, it changes the dynamics of everything, right? So if you're having to initiate the communication and everything out the jump, that means chances are you're going to have to continue to initiate everything else moving forward, right? Most leaders, they initiate, and especially if it's something that they are truly, interested in. And then another reason you don't want to always be doing the initiating is because it comes across as aggressive. Now, a man wants to know you're interested, but he doesn't want you to be overly aggressive. Not only to that, it's almost like you're smothering him, right? Because you're like forcing yourself to be the center of attention in his life. And that's not necessarily, what they need and what they want. And that's why I believe a lot of women are having anxiety when it comes to relationships. Like, for example, I don't know anything about welding, right? So if I take a position, if I put myself in the position to become a welder and I don't know anything about welding, I'm putting myself in a position to get burned and blind because I don't know how to use any of the protective gear. And a lot of times we women, we're putting ourselves in positions of pursuer that we are not supposed to be in. The Bible says what? That a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. So which means if he's finding you, that means he's looking for you. He's pursuing you. So when you take the lead and you take the role of the pursuer, you're changing the dynamics totally. So I think that's why a lot of women are finding themselves just stressed out, emotionally strained. And that's why a lot of brothers don't know how to pursue a woman because they've had so many other women handicap them by pursuing them.
Absolutely. Nicole, thoughts on this?
Yeah, being a single woman, the whole shooting my shot, I might bring out the basketball and roll it over to you and let you know I'm interested. But to me, it's a man's job to let me know that he's interested, to pursue me. If you blur the lines when you take over that, women are not supposed to be masculine. I feel like that's a masculine trait. You have to give a man an opportunity to present himself to you.
Absolutely.
That's basic right there. Mel Money, your thoughts?
I mean, listen, one of my favorite movies of all time is Coming to America. You know, my brother was looking for his queen, right?
Right.
It wasn't where my sister was in Queens looking for Prince Hakeem in Africa, right? So listen, I tell my classy sisters it would be your best advantage not to always be the one to initiate contact between the two of you, because women are, as Stephanie and Nicole nicely said, they are naturally designed to be open to receive a good man who has the courage to go after what he wants in a respectful manner based on her flirtatious output. But when a woman goes against her natural feminine qualities based on society's definition of feminine essence, it then puts her at a disadvantage to play the ugly chase a man game. And I truly believe at the beginning of a relationship, you want to put all the odds in your favor by collecting data and to see if this man has chemistry with you. But when a certain sister constantly shoots her shot, it doesn't display confidence. It displays desperation. And plus, it makes it a lot easier, I would say, for an opportunistic user to take advantage of it.
Absolutely.
Just to give you a visual metaphor, I have a concept called the National Geographic Theory, whereas certain sisters, classy sisters, use their common sense and intuition to avoid these predators compared to a blind antelope who surrender herself freely to a low-value man who will eventually tear her apart spiritually, mentally, and physically. So, I mean, logically, if you truly think about it, how will a sister know if her brother really cares about her or not if she's always the one calling him, texting him, visiting him, and so forth? Truthfully, the only sure way to check his romantic thermometer is to allow the brother to dominate the initiation of contact as she reciprocates her interest towards him. And this way, a sister can gauge his level of interest and also makes the relationship flow more naturally when a man prefers to lead in a respectful manner compared to a brother who prefers to be lazy and submissive.
Absolutely. Man, listen, I just want to do a quick comment, then we're going to take a quick break. But my comment is this: Stephanie touched upon it a little bit more, but I think it needs to be accentuated. And this is the point right here. The main reason why women should never take the lead is because the first opportunity you get to see a man in a leadership role is when he's pursuing you.
Yes.
Watch it, how he pursue you. This is DBDS Live. We'll be back in about 60 seconds.
If you would like to learn how to establish and maintain long-term meaningful relationships, join DBDS University today. You will learn about interpersonal relationships, first date tips, the relationship zones, emotional intelligence, and more.
Say thank you to my big brothers Mel and Mo for creating the DBDS University with the live, the book, the website. It's helped me so much grow as an individual.
Are you single? Do you know about dbdssingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or a classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up for a free trial. dbdssingles.com, where quality men meet classy women.
What up, y'all? Back in the studio, DBDS Live studio, here with Nicole, Stephanie, and my man Mel Money, and we're discussing the friend zone. Don't skip it. All right, that's where we at right now. We're discussing the friend zone. Don't skip it. Mel Money, we got any people on social media giving any shout outs?
Oh, yes, man. Let's give a shout out to my girl Erica Williams, Jasmine, Jessica, Amy, my man Kevin, Daniela, Miss Misty, Nicole, Sherry Lynn, Jeff Roderick, Alicia, Sean, Antramus, Tolson, Marcus, Abigail. Wow, so many names to mention. I'll continue to throw some shout outs throughout the show. Thanks for tuning in.
What's up, y'all? Glad y'all tuned in. What's happening? Listen, like I said, we discussing the friend zone. Don't skip it. Having a lot of good conversation right now. We're about to jump into our next topic. Very next topic is, before a serious relationship is developed, do not allow yourself to be too available to a man.
Ooh, thirsty, man.
Well,
Thirsty.
let me give you some context on that, okay? Don't be too available. My man Mel Money said the thirst is live. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. This kind of how I look. That kind of thirsty. All right, so check this out right here. I help
Right.
to counsel a lot of women. They come to me and Mel for advice. They ask us questions. And one thing I tell them is this here is that, stay busy. If you're single, stay busy. And the reason why you got to stay busy is this here. Single and bored leads to loneliness.
Yes.
Loneliness leads to desperation. And now, when a man comes in your life, you in that mode, you're in that desperation mode, and you're gonna, anytime he says, "Let's jump," you're gonna jump because you need that. You've been missing out on that, right? You need that, right? So I'm gonna tell you this quick story. This is one of the counseling. The time I counseled this woman, what happened was she called me up. She said, "Listen, there was a guy that I was interested in about 20 years ago. But at the time he was married and I was doing my thing. I had a man, so we just chilled. We were just friends. Now I saw him the other day, and it was like we picked up right where we left off. And now since he was single, I was single. He asked if he could take me out to dinner, and he took me out to dinner. She said we talked all night. It was amazing. And then she asked me this question. She said, "What does he want?" And I said, "What happened after the date?" She said, "He took me home, gave me a kiss on the cheek, and went home." I said, "Okay." I said, "What he wants you. He wants you. He wants to know all about you. He wants to get with you, right?" And she said, "Okay, I like that. What should I do?" I said, "This is what you do. Call your friends up and go stay goddamn busy. Go do something. You don't got to do nothing. Just go do something. What should I call him? Should I text him? Listen, you ain't listening to me. Go get busy. Go do something, right?" So turns out she didn't listen to my advice. She sent the man this big long ass text that said, "I had a great time. I'm wondering where our relationship is going. Hopefully this is going where I think it's going. When you gonna let me know? How many? Which way? What color?" Okay. That was done. He broke out. It was over after that, right? So what I'm saying, ladies, stay busy in this situation. All right. All right. So I'm coming to you, Mel Money. Talk to me about this one.
Well, before I even comment on that, give you some insight, I just want to. Michelle Johnson states, if a man doesn't pursue a woman, he is not interested. Simple. However, a woman must also show intent without being portrayed as being thirsty. A confident woman knows how to navigate these waters. Thank you for the comment, Michelle.
That's good.
That's
Yeah,
called
Michelle.
flirting. That's called flirting.
That's called
Thank you.
flirting.
The
It's
flirt.
called flirting.
Oh,
Taking
yeah.
out the basketball and rolling it over.
There you go.
Not shooting the shot. Don't shoot. Don't take a shot.
Don't shoot, just roll. Let him
Just
shoot.
roll
Roll it.
right,
But to
man,
answer
Money,
your
what you
question,
think?
man, so my insight on this is extremely important because when you give a brother total access to your time and attention early on in the friend zone, this could be the kiss of death. I mean, it's just like women with standards who find a man who is a challenge and presents himself as a worthy companion, attractive. I believe the same applies to women. And certain brothers definitely value the things that we work for, especially a classy woman. I would say who is hard to get, but not one who plays hard to get. There's a difference. And I believe that increases the attraction level because when a woman already has an exciting, attractive life of her own, I believe it eliminates the knight in shining armor theory where a brother feels that he has to rescue a woman from her misery or pull her up in order for her to be on the same wavelength with him. This also shows that when a woman has an attractive life of her own, the right man will only add value and enhance her life. I feel like because a woman who is not too available presents a man with a healthy problem worth solving compared to a woman whose access is super easy, super cheap, and the brother may get bored very quickly unless he doesn't have a purpose in life. Pretty much he doesn't have anything going on. So I also believe that a woman who is already content in her singlehood also shows that she is not needy or desperate, and this non-verbally communicates confidence and high value because she knows how to spend her time wisely. And she looks forward to a man that can fulfill that particular role. So to my classy sisters out there, listen, don't be so eager to give up your family, your friends, your hobbies, your aspirations the minute a handsome brother expresses interest in you. Because chances are many of the things that are going to be the very essence of you will pretty much means what he's attracted to begin with.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, Nicole, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I feel like when you give everything up front, it goes back to the old saying, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free. If you give up everything that's physical, I mean, even your time, if you sacrifice everything up front, like Mel says, he's going to get bored. What's the purpose of him planning time or actually getting to know you or what you like or what you think, getting to know your mind if, every time he calls you up, you're like, yeah, come over. There's no planning, there's no effort, and then women will tend to get our feelings hurt because he's not doing the same thing. He's still hanging out with his friends and doing his hobbies and then calling you when he's bored and you're just there waiting. It's not a good start to a relationship. And I don't feel like when you give everything up front, that's not going anywhere. That's not turning into anything positive.
Absolutely. Stephanie, thoughts?
Yeah, so I agree with everything you guys have said. And my question is, I especially you, Mo, you really hit it on the head. My question is, why are you so available? Like, I tell women, no, we're not playing games. No, you're not going to ignore his calls on purpose. No, you're not going to pretend you have things going on. I need you to be focused. And when I say focused, that means have a life of your own. If you have goals, if you have a vision, if you have dreams that you are working on, if you are caught up in doing that, then you are going to be, you aren't going to be as available as someone who is sitting around waiting on the phone to ring or who is waiting for some knight in shining armor, to come and find them and make them, somebody special. People love to quote. Now, this is a story I think almost everybody knows, even atheists. They love the story of Ruth and Boaz. But what they don't realize is that when he walked on the field, he was like, yo, homeboy, who is this chick? And what she was doing is she was working. So he knew that she was about something. She had something going for herself. She had some goals in mind. And so what I know happens is when you are a woman who is focused and you're driven and you have a life of your own, the conversation goes like this: bling, bling, bling. Hello. Hey, look, I wanted to ask you a question. I know you're busy, but do you have time for dinner? Do you have time for something, to catch a movie? Because they realize your time is valuable. So you making yourself available to them is something that you're doing because it shows to them that they're valuable, but also that you have a life of your own. So I think that's the issue. A lot of times, we women, we get caught up in horrible relationships and chasing after men and just being, available for foolishness because we don't have anything going on for ourselves. No vision, no insight, no goals, nothing. And we want them to come and bring and add value to something that's a mess or is not even, established. No foundation of our own.
All right, Mel Money, you got something you want to add?
Yeah, I love what Stephanie stated, because that's why I state time is like currency. You have to spend it on someone that is appreciative of it. You know what I'm saying? If you're just spending your time with someone that's only doing the late night visits just to come over to smash your chocolate chip cookies, it's almost as if you're just wasting your money. And keep in mind, that time is non-refundable. You can never get it back. You should want to spend time with a brother that's deserving, one that shows that he's interested in you, one that want to get to know you more than just your body, but your substance as well. One that want to see if you guys have some sort of cultural alliance or mentally or on that same level. You know what I'm saying? Compared to, because, you spending your time with a brother that's just taking advantage of you really push you at a disadvantage.
Absolutely, man. Told y'all to get y'all papers and pencil. I hope y'all got the notes there. All right. Absolutely. All right. We're about to go on to our next topic. Next topic we're talking about here is prioritizing phone calls over texting. Now, let me just set the stage and say this. Texting can be good because if you're going through your day and you get a little smiley, kissy face, that right there can lighten your day up. You know what I mean? But when it becomes a problem is when it becomes your primary mode of communication, especially in the early phases when you're just meeting somebody, right? One thing you can't get from texting is you can't get voice tone. You can't get emotional tones. You can't get none of that. You know what I mean? So you want to talk to somebody, and absolutely you want to get together and meet with them. These are the things you got to do in the early phase. You can't just rely solely on texting. So I'm gonna go to you, Nicole. What's your thoughts on this?
This is a rough one for me because I hate talking on the phone. But fellas, if a girl is only texting you, that's a sign. I hate talking on the phone, but if I meet somebody that I'm really interested in, I will take that phone call. To me, like Mel was saying before, time is irreplaceable. And to put your phone down or pick up the phone and take a phone call instead of texting, that's time, that's focus, that's energy that you can't get when you're texting, because I can text you, put the phone down, and go start a load of laundry. So if definitely a phone call is important if you're really interested in someone, because I hate talking on the phone. Hate it.
You okay? You
Did I
do
say
you
I
meet
hate
in
it?
person? Yes, you did. You did.
If I'm talking to you on the phone, I like you.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
See, if she's on the show, y'all, so you know she like us, so we good. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Yeah,
head
right,
and
you know?
everything.
Right on, right on. All right, Mel Money, what's your thoughts on this one, man?
Ah, man. I mean, you could tell a lot about a brother's level of interest based on whether or not his method of communicating with you deepens over time. And listen, I have nothing against smartphones or apps, but I tell my sisters, if you want a brother to take you seriously, then he should pick up the phone and call you. Um, but at the early stages of the friend zone phase, I agree with Nicole. Text messaging is okay, but once the ball starts rolling and the relationship deepens, text messaging should be used sporadically as opposed to being the primary source of communicating. And believe me, if a sister has not graduated from the text zone and it's been months that they've been talking, especially after being intimate with that particular brother, it simply means that he's rotating her with a list of other women. And this is why the rules of engagement has to apply as soon as a woman decides to lower her wall. And it's as simple as this. A sister can just simply assert that she prefers a brother to call her to make definite plans, and she can communicate this to him, I'll say in a flirty way, so she doesn't come off as aggressive or that she's nagging. Because truthfully, a man who refused to call his sister over time will not take the necessary steps to commit to her in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely. Whew. Stephanie, thoughts?
Ooh, Mel, you were all up in my thoughts. Listen, I tell women, like, look, don't let that brother good morning beautiful you to death. At some point,
Okay.
we got to have some kind of conversation. If you pull up your phone and it's a million good morning beautifuls, the middle of the day, how is your day going? But there's no real substance. Chances are he's really not interested in you. And like Mel said, he has a line of women. He's probably sending that same text message and copying it to someone else. Yeah, and like I said, it speaks of his interest. And then I don't like to me, okay, at some point it speaks of laziness too. Like, don't you want to get to know me? Don't you want to put some effort into it? And I need to know how well you can communicate. Like, are you able to string a sentence? How do you feel? Like Mo said, right? Mo said, you can't tell tone. So if you being nice, nasty, I want to be able to hear it. If you're being passive aggressive, I want to be able to feel it. I can't get that through text messaging, right? If you're upset, I need to know that you know how to use a word other than a curse word to express to me how you're feeling. So for me, I just feel like we have allowed each other to become very lazy when it comes to texting. Later on down the line, like, I miss you, babe. I'm thinking about you. Some hearts, some kisses. That's cool. But as far as it being our primary means of conversation, no. And then, like I said, at night, especially at night, what you doing at night that you can't pick up the phone after work and talk to me? Why can't we have a conversation? Why aren't you asking me or being concerned about how my day is without me having to hold the phone, put all this radiation in my body? Let me stop. Put all this radiation in my body, trying to tell you how I feel about you. I'm just not with it.
Absolutely. Yep. Mel Money, you got something you want to add?
What I want to add to it is that she's right, man. I mean, think about it. The brother could be copy and pasting stuff from Google and may sound very intelligent when he texts you.
Yeah.
By the time you call him, yo, what's up? Hey, shorty. So this is why, you gotta.
Nicole.
Yeah,
so you gotta be able. I mean, this is true because text messaging can be used as a way that a player use it to not put himself fully into the relationship. I mean, the brother could treat the bathroom as a cheating booth when he's with his significant other and just text you in a low voice, yo, hey, what's going on? I'll get right back to you. And then he's going back to his lady friend. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm just saying, like, you got to use some common sense and intuition when you have yourself in those situations. And that's why it's so important. Some people may say it's old fashioned, but that's the best way to know that a brother really likes you. When he picks up that phone and he makes concrete plans with you, and he has a nice, beautiful conversation with you, that's the best way to be.
That's good.
So I had this last comment, and this is the situation here. So what's the benefit of texting is this? I can send you a text, and then I can wait for you to get back to me, right? You don't need my full attention, right? I can send it to you. I can wait to get back to me. But if I'm on the phone with you and you ask me a question, and I'm like, hold on a second.
Crickets.
Let me.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I come back. It's like, no. See, you need to have full attention when you on the telephone and you're talking to somebody, or you're sitting face to face talking to them. You know, because I've seen some conversations where people sitting face to face and one's aloof and the other one's asking questions. That'll tell you a lot about the person. You know what I'm saying? Like, where you at, bro? Is you there? You know what I mean? So that's what it is.
Not in person. That's a terrible.
Exactly. Absolutely. So listen, y'all. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. This is DBDS Live.
Are you single? Do you know about DBDSsingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or a classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up for a free trial. DBDSsingles.com, where quality men meet classy women. If you would like to learn how to establish and maintain long-term meaningful relationships, join DBDS University today. You will learn about interpersonal relationships, first date tips, the relationship zones, emotional intelligence, and more.
Say thank you to my big brothers Mel and Mo for creating the DBDS University with the live, the book, the website. It's helped me so much grow as an individual.
What's up, y'all? Back in the DBDS Live studio here with Nicole, Stephanie, and my man Mel Money, and we talking about the friend zone. Don't skip it. We just gave you a bunch of good reasons, but we still got more. We're gonna keep this rolling. Mel Money, anything on Facebook, bro?
Yes. Shout out to Miss Thompson. She said awesome conversation. I want to give a shout out to Loretta, Kathy, my queen Toya, my sister Toya. Shout out to Ernest, Lakeisha, Arlette, what's up? Rena, Amani, George, Geneva, Arif. Wow, we got people from India watching the show right now. Listen. So shout out to my people in India, Bangalore, India. Appreciate that. So we're gonna keep it moving.
Wow, man, we done went international. What's up, bro? I'm about to call the job up, yo. I'm done. All right, y'all, we're gonna keep it going. This here, we're talking about the friend zone. Don't skip it. Our next topic we're gonna jump into is be willing to assert yourself and defend your personal boundaries with the men you date. So I'm gonna size it up this way. I'm gonna say this here. You know, some people, they talk with their hands and they kind of touchy when they talk. So if you meet somebody and that's what's going on, you need to say something. You really do, because as Nicole stated before, and I'm gonna reiterate, is if you allow certain things to happen, early, they'll keep happening. You know what I mean? They always say the first impression, you get a chance to make only one chance to make the first impression. Well, it's the same thing. Those behaviors that you allow and you let slide, those are going to continue because you gave the permission slip. You're like, oh, okay, it's cool. Oh, so I'm touching her. She cool. She ain't say nothing. But if it's not like that, just speak up. Search yourself. And defend your personal space. Mel Money, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Mo, what you just broke down, I totally agree. Because listen, self-love is the most important element which will guide a sister with choosing the right brother. Because if you can't love yourself, then you simply can't love nobody else. I also believe that self-love creates boundaries and sets standards and conditions your mind on what you're looking for, so you won't settle. The other part of the equation is to attract a high-value man is to always defend your personal boundaries and don't bend your moral codes and values for any man. I feel like this is where holding yourself accountable is extremely important, and how you carry yourself becomes a major factor. For example, I believe the perfect time to hold brothers accountable is not after your joy has been taken away from you, or after a dozen men have sampled you or smashed your chocolate chip cookies, but it's about your habits and and telling the brothers to show that he's not relationship ready. It's about telling that brother, like, listen, I don't engage in that manner. That's not how I carry myself as a woman. It's also holding brothers accountable the second time they break your heart, or those who continue to display low integrity. This is why certain sisters must establish moral codes which will attract the right man whose values are in line with hers.
Absolutely. Stephanie, your thoughts?
So I think the issue is we blur the lines, like we blur the lines immediately, right? So I tell women, like, okay, so you want to be able to tell people what your standards are, what your non-negotiables are out the gate. Now, I'm not saying on the first time you talk, because you don't want to be like aggressive, and like I tell people, have high standards, be high maintenance, but not as in regards to materialism, but in how you handle yourself, right? So, for example, all right, so if I say to you, listen, if you and I are talking and it looks like this relationship is going to progress, is going to be something, if I know that I plan on practicing abstinence, I need you to know that, and I need to know that you know that and that you understand that, right? If I'm someone who like, for example, my husband always has me laughing. He's like, yo, we'll pull these guys over driving a woman's car who smokes weed, right? This woman doesn't smoke. She never smoked. You're letting her borrow your car, and he's smoking in your car, tearing your car up. So it's basically the same thing. There's no boundaries. So so like Nicole said, things will progress. So when you don't put boundaries in place out the gate, those are the things that you tend to see happen. So I'm telling you, I'm not having sex, but you still trying to fill on my chocolate chip cookie. So you setting yourself up for failure. And then what you said, right? So I'm telling you, right now, I'm focused on this, and you still trying to pull me, you're still trying to engage me in things that's going to pull me away from what it is I'm telling you I'm trying to focus on, so those things. So I agree. I think you have to be firm, and you need to put those things out front, out the gate, not too soon, but just when you see that the relationship is going to, like it might be going somewhere, you want someone to know,
Nicole, your
where
thoughts?
you stand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ladies, we have to, no matter what, stand our ground. If you know your worth and your self-value, do not let anybody push you. I know for me, it's, I don't like being spoken to like I'm stupid.
Right.
And it sounds really simple, but as soon as it happens, I'm going to, let someone know this is what you did and this is why I don't like it. I don't feel like Stephanie says, you don't have to give everything up front. But as it happens, you have to check it immediately. If you wait, you're in the he's so cute and I don't want to run him away phase, and you wait, and then you bring it up in a month from now, you're going to look crazy. It's not going to look like it's genuine. He's going to be like, well, what are you tripping for? Did you have a bad day at work? It's going to be dismissed as something completely else. You have to know what your standards are and follow them always, no matter what. Not only are you helping yourself in the relationship you may have, but you may be teaching him something that can improve him in his life. Maybe if he's not in a relationship with you, down the line, a woman that he's going to marry. We have to set our standards and stick to it.
Yeah.
Now, Money, thoughts? Oh, it looks like Stephanie got something. Hold on before I go to you. Anything else, Stephanie, you want to add?
No, I was just agreeing. I was agreeing with
guess
what
her
she
first.
said. Yeah.
Okay. Guess her first, man.
I was agreeing with what she said. No, it's true. So it's true. What she was saying, if you operate in excellence, though, and that speaks to your value when you operate in excellence, and so a lot of times that helps you speak without having to explain yourself. So I was just agreeing with what she was saying. That's very true.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Absolutely. Now, Money.
Yeah, I mean, I say a lot of times, and this is what I be telling my daughter. She's going to be 16, this year. So I tell her, listen, how you present yourself and what you put out is what you're going to get back in. You know what I'm saying? So if you carry yourself as a classy lady, then brothers are going to treat you in that manner. So, to my sisters out there, I always tell them, like, listen, you have to be mindful on how you carry yourself, because usually when you have standards, men will fall in love with you. And when you don't have standards, men will fall in lust with you. And it's a big difference. And lust is like the lowest form of love. lust is that passion that's just like a blaze of fire, but over time it's going to die out. And when that blaze of fire dies out, the relationship will crumble. But when you have someone that you truly value and you're into, that creates sort of like a compassionate love. Whereas you're getting to know that person and the flow just grows over time and it escalates and the attraction level just builds up. So I just tell my sisters, be mindful. If you carry yourself as a jump off, quite honestly, that's how brothers is going to treat you. If you carry yourself as a classy lady with standards, then trust me, you're going to run away the brothers that just want to take advantage of you, and you're going to attract, be a magnet towards the brothers that really want to get to know who you are and pull back that substance to know you.
That's so true.
Absolutely.
That is real.
Amazing. All right, Mel Money, anything else on Facebook before we take this quick break?
Yes. My classy sister Sherry Victoria said, "Truth, Stephanie." Shout out to Marcella. Shout out to Miss Lynn out there. And Tabitha said, "If boundaries may have been crossed and you say this is not my style, it's okay to go back and set boundaries and reinforce those standards and values, even if those lines were crossed." Okay. I like what she stated.
So what she's saying, basically, like, extend some grace. Like, okay, you may have crossed the line this time, so I'm giving you another chance. So I'm gonna give you some grace this time because you may have misunderstood what I said the first time.
Okay,
speak sign language. Speak sign language.
Yes.
I need to put it in braille.
Yes. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? Yes.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. So we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back. When we come back, this is what we call our Jerry Springer moment. We're gonna give you guys our show summaries and give you our final outputs. We'll be right back in a few seconds.
Are you single? Do you know about dbdssingles.com? Are you ready to meet a quality man or a classy woman? The DBDS brothers want you to know that love and loyalty still exists. So if you're ready to meet relationship-ready people, sign up for a free trial. dbdssingles.com, where quality men meet classy women. If you would like to learn how to establish and maintain long-term meaningful relationships, join DBDS University today. You will learn about interpersonal relationships, first date tips, the relationship zones, emotional intelligence, and more.
Say thank you to my big brothers Mel and Mo for creating the DBDS University with the live, the book, the website. It's helped me so much grow as an individual.
Dear brothers, it's about quality, not quantity.
So guys, it should be your conversation, the way you flow, your presence is enough for a woman to want to be around you, not how much money you spend.
Dear sisters, it's about knowing your value.
My sisters out there, don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Dear brothers, dear sisters, it's time to come together.
What up? Back in the studio, DBDS Live Studio. This is the bottom of the hour. We're talking about the friend zone. Don't skip it. All right, I'm in the studio here with Nicole, Stephanie, and my man Mel Money. And about this time, it's time for that Jerry Springer moment. We're going to give you our final summaries. Sit tight. You ready? Stephanie, hit them off.
So in closing, I would just say, make sure that you are okay with who you are. Make sure that you are okay with who you are alone. When a man finds you, make sure that you are about your business, that you are focused on your goals, that you are putting yourself in a position to be an asset, not just to yourself, not just to your friends, but to someone else that you may connect with. Like I said earlier, operate in excellence. Like Mel said, don't be a jump off. Carry yourself with dignity. Carry yourself with respect, so he'll know what type of female you are out the gate. So that way, that kind of removes a lot of the extra foolishness that you have to go through based on how you carry yourself. He'll know, okay, I need to bring it and I need to come correct. Be concrete in your non-negotiables. This is what I will not tolerate. This, the verbal abuse, we're not going to do that. Emotional abuse, we're not going to do that. I need you to know how to communicate with me. So I don't like passive aggressive personality traits. Like, we need to be able, to have some kind of conversation. So I think in all, I would just say the same thing that you guys say in your slogan. Don't be afraid to scare a guy off just because you have standards.
Nicole, final thoughts? Nicole, final thoughts?
Yeah, so piggyback off what Stephanie says, standards are so important. Don't sway from them. Loneliness will not kill you, and it doesn't last forever. I am a big promoter of self-love and self-peace. Your peace and your happiness means so much just to your quality of life and to your health even. Also, I'd like to just point out to when you're in a relationship or when someone is pursuing you, to don't ignore red flags. I have a really good friend, Audra, who lost her 17-year-old daughter, to a domestic violence. And Maya, she was only hoping to help someone, and she ended up losing her life to it. I did want to give her a shout out. She started a foundation to bring attention to domestic violence and those sort of red flags. She has a Facebook page if you guys want to follow that, if you're interested. That's Maya World, MYAWORLD on Facebook. And if you wanted to reach out to me, I'm Nicole Marie, NEKOHLMARIE on Facebook, and NEKOHL_Marie on Instagram.
Boom. Right there, y'all. Mel Money, final thoughts?
Listen, thanks for sharing that, Nicole. But I want to thank this amazing cast, this amazing panel. Stephanie, Nicole, thanks for sharing that. And just at all the DBDS people that has tuned in, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys coming on the show. So listen, if what you're offering and what you're giving is huge compared to what you receive is little, then it's a bad investment. And you should always maintain your standards and be willing to walk away from a bad investment. And the most important aspect at the beginning or during the friendship zone is to always pay attention to how a brother pursues you. This non-verbally communicates a lack of courage, confidence, and leadership capabilities, and allows you to gauge his interest level towards you. Because a true healthy relationship is where two people want and respect each other as badly as they want each other. So be mindful, my classy sisters, and don't go by the potential they can offer you, but what they do offer you.
Anybody got any fire emojis? I need to throw 4 fire emojis up there.
Yes.
Someone has a birthday coming up, right? Is that right? One of you guys?
Oh, yes. I'm a Pisces. Shout out to my Pisces. Listen.
It's going to be 26. It's going to be 26.
Again and again.
March 4th, my people. Pisces season to all my fellow Pisces.
All right, so listen, I want to do like Mel. I want to definitely thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Nicole, for joining us. Every show, I always say every show I learn something new. And this one just was a bunch of information that I got out of this one, so I really appreciate it. My final words are this. There's something me and Mel call the 80-20 rule. All right, so what that is, these things are called what we call moral codes. These are, Stephanie kind of mentioned them. She said these are your non-negotiables, right? We call them moral codes. So what you need to do is get you a piece of paper and write down 10 moral codes. All right, write down 10 of them, and then find the ones that 80% of those that are, you can flex a little bit, but then there's the 20%. Those are non-negotiables. You ain't changing those for nobody. You got to stand by those, right? You know what I'm saying? So once you get those in place, you have a guideline by which to run your relationship. Now, the thing is this, I also want to mention that you got to be realistic about what you're looking for and what your moral codes are. You got to really be realistic. Now, I'm going to give you an example of realistic. Okay, there was a study that was done at UCLA. And the study was they had these 2 batches of mice. Okay, and this is what they did. And you got to be realistic, because if you don't, a guy will go away. So this is how I'm going to explain it to you. They had these 2 little batches of mice. I didn't make the experiment up, so for all the animal lovers, don't blame me. You know what I'm saying? But there was these 2 batches of mice, right?
Disclaimer.
And what they did is they took one batch over to an Olympic swimming pool, and they took the other one over to a kiddie swimming pool, and they got these little body harnesses on them with there was a little hole up top, and they put a little fishing hook in there, and they put the little mice in the middle of the pool, right? So first they started with the Olympic swimming pool, and they had the mice swim out to the center, and they got them out there, and they keep them out there with the fishing pole, right? And the mice swim until they expire, right? They did the same experiment in the kiddie pool until the mice expired. Now, what they found out was this. The ones in the Olympic swimming pool, they expired after 30 minutes. The one in the kiddie swimming pool always expired after like 45 minutes. Realistic is this. If you can see that you have opportunity on the horizon, because the kiddie pool was so small, the mice could see that they may have opportunity, right? So they kept swimming because there was hope there. You know what I'm saying? So don't make your moral codes so unrealistic that nobody can achieve them. That's the main point in this situation right here. All right, Mel Money, send us off, brother.
Hey. PETA is emailing